I want you guys to write them down, and then if you did do any homework until we see each other next week, this will be your homework, right? If you can get online, there are a variety of assessments. I would check them out, but understand, again, like I was saying, there's a whole bunch of information online about attachment styles that probably won't be valuable. So be discerning in the information that you look at, okay? So we have anxious is the first one. And I'm going to give you kind of like some basic examples, but again, you guys should do some more research to kind of deepen your understanding. So anxious is a scenario where a child expresses a need. And for simplicity's sake, let's just say the kid is crying, okay? Anxious attachment is formed when the parent shows up, right, is present, but doesn't actually address the need, okay? So the kid's crying, they need something, the parent's there, but they're just present. They're just in the same physical space. They're not actually like trying to meet the need of what the kid is, expressing. And this is super challenging, right? Because babies cry, and we have to kind of like guess, right? Are they hungry? Did they shit themselves? Do they not like the temperature? Et cetera, et cetera. So again, to Seth's point, your parents are gonna fuck you up because they're just trying to figure it out themselves. There's no right way to do this. So anxious is sort of like the most common, because we all had experiences as kids where we had a need, we were saying we wanted that need to be met, and our parents showed up and they were there for us, but they were like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, right? They didn't know how to meet that need. They were there for us, they just didn't know how to meet that need. That's anxious attachment style. Second one is avoidant. Avoidant attachment. So this tends to be what we see happen with neglect. So a kid expresses a need, kid is crying, kid is crying, kid is crying, parent's just not there. Okay, so the kid in some way learns to self-soothe, but also learns to develop that they can't reach out for help, that they have to meet their own needs, right? That they can't reach out to someone else, or that no one else will actually ever be able to help them because the parent wasn't there when they were expressing that need. And again, I'm super simplifying these. That makes sense? Kids crying, there's nobody there at all. They eventually develop the ability to self-soothe to some degree, but even then, right, self-soothing doesn't get me fed. If the need that I wanted was food, sure, I'll stop crying, but I'm still fucking hungry, right? Third one is secure. Secure attachment. This is ideal, right? This is how we would all want to be parented in an ideal world. I cry, I express a need, my parent shows up, and they sit with me, and they attempt to meet my need. So the parent goes through some process of trial and error until they can soothe the child and meet their need. So I'm crying because I'm hungry. My parent shows up. First of all, they offer some kind of support. Maybe it's just picking me up. Maybe it's just a pat on the back. Then they try to attempt to meet that need. Check my diaper. They hand me a toy. These things aren't working. They give me food. That meets my need. That kind of closes the perfect loop. That is secure attachment. You express a need. Somebody shows up to say, hey, what's going on? And they find some way to meet that need so that you can get on with life. That's ideal. Okay? Last one is disorganized. Unfortunately, this is the one that we see most often with people who are, in active addiction. Disorganized means that you express the need, I'm crying, and you got punished for it. Somebody showed up and fucked you up because of the noise you were making. Okay, so now you learn not to express needs at all. Now you learn not to say anything at all. Now you also learn that the people who are supposed to be taking care of you are actually the people that harm you. right? This makes it super challenging to establish relationship later in life. Because now you don't trust anybody. Now you don't really know how to communicate about your needs because it was stunted. And if you do communicate about a need, the only response you get from that is punishment or harm or violence, right? This is any kind of abuse, most kinds of neglect. Establishing this early in life makes it super hard later in life to find meaningful relationships, to feel good about yourself, etc., etc. This is the worst. Okay, so we have anxious, we have avoidant, we have secure, we have disorganized. Again, look them up. There's plenty of assessments. Try to find one that gives you some insight about potentially what your attachment style is. Then learn how to adapt and change it. Very, very few people actually experience secure attachment. So all of us are basically one of those other three. Again, it's not deterministic. It doesn't mean that just